Now, this is another one of those trick questions. Is scandium a transition metal? And it, of course, because it's a trick question, is a favorite for all kinds of exams. And the answer again lies in the periodic table. So this is our periodic table. We are very familiar with it now. So where is scandium? So that is the first element of the D block. So it is right here. And we are asking whether it's a transition metal. So what is the definition of transition metal? So if you know the definition, put in the comment section below in short, okay? Because I know you don't like to write large comments, but if you know the definition of transition metals, that is what this question is actually testing about. The transition metals are those metals for which any one of their ions has stable ions has half filled d orbital. So if I can find a stable ion of an element which has half filled d orbital, I would just simply call it transition metal. So let's just see some elements which are not, right? So for all the d block elements, you would say that most of them are transition metals because they have ions, at least one of their stable ions has a half filled d orbitals, except for these three right here. So these are the three culprits for which they don't really have a stable ion which has half filled d orbital. So zinc, for example, has an electronic configuration of argon, and then on top of it there is this 4s2 3d10. Okay, the only ion it forms is with the loss of this s orbitals, which is zinc 2 plus, and this particular ion has fully filled d orbitals. So the only ion it forms has fully filled d orbitals, and therefore it is not a transition metal. So zinc, similarly, same thing goes for cadmium and mercury as well. Okay, but what about scandium? So can we find an ion of scandium which has half filled d orbitals? Okay, so scandium, for the longest time, and of course many people, many students, as soon as they write this electronic configuration, they would think that the only electrons scandium would lose are these 3d electrons, and it would form scandium Sc plus. That's the only ion it will form, which is not true. Okay, in certain organometallic compounds, which is organic plus organic compounds with scandium in them, in certain organometallic compounds, scandium also has +2 valency, and it also has in certain times +3 valency. Of course, +3 is not so important for us at this point, but what about +2? The +2 valency is formed by actually the loss of this 4s, these two electrons. Okay, so that is what the +2 valency comes from for scandium. And in this valency, this stable ion Sc2 plus, this stable ion has half filled d orbital, and therefore scandium is now classified as a transition metal. The same goes for yttrium, that is also now classified as a transition metal. Of course, scandium and yttrium, they are also rare earth metals, so that's a different story. We are talking about the transition metals for now, and scandium and yttrium are now classified as transition metals. So the zinc, cadmium and mercury, as far as we are concerned, those are the three elements in the D block which are not transition metals. Scandium and yttrium have now been classified as transition metals.